Okay, so over the last few years, on YouTube especially, we've seen a lot of chit-chat about a little thing called B-roll, but here's why it may not be exactly what you think it is.
A lot of people associate B-roll with cinematic, slow-motion footage, but some of the most common applications are actually pretty boring, like interviews and the evening news.
So what exactly is B-roll? To understand B-roll, you first need to understand what A-roll is. A-roll is your main shots or the actual story. In an interview, for example, your A-roll is the actual footage of a subject being interviewed, like this.
I bought those boat tickets the day I saw that YouTube video.
That was A-roll. The definition of B-roll is any supplemental or alternative footage that is intercut with your main shot, like this.
I wished for Pam to gain courage. I wished for Angela a heart, and for Kelly a brain. Michael, how can you appreciate women so much but also dump one of them?
How about a few more examples?
In broadcast, news programs use B-roll all the time to cut away from shots of the reporter. For instance, if I'm reporting on a fire that happened earlier today, you'd probably much rather see shots of that fire than of my ugly mug. This gives you more visual information and keeps you more engaged. B-roll can also serve to transition you from one shot or segment or interview to another, like this.
We also see this all the time in documentaries as well. If documentaries were limited to A-roll, they get boring really quickly. In documentaries, the A-roll is this talking head section that you're seeing right now. While I'm talking to this interviewer about marine life, we'll splice in some shark clips to keep you engaged. It can also help cover up any mistakes I'll inevitably make while I'm doing this interview. It can also help cover up any mistakes I'll inevitably make while I'm doing this interview.
B-roll is also used in movies and TV shows too. In the TV show Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, for example, the A-roll contains the story and characters. B-roll was just used to take us from New York City to Paris.
Wow, isn't that neat?
Sure is.
Let's talk about why we named this video Your B-roll Doesn't Matter. It's not that your B-roll doesn't matter or isn't important, it's that your A-roll is so much more important.
That being said, make sure your B-roll looks its best and fits your narrative. This is a great way to take your videos to the next level. Also, ensuring that your B-roll is graded similarly to your A-roll helps give the video a cohesive feel and keeps your audience fully immersed. Speaking of which, to make sure your A and B-roll look its best, you should check out the Film Convert Nitrate plugin for Premiere or Resolve. Film Convert can help you quickly grade your footage with film emulation, grain, and camera profiles. To prove it, I'm gonna grade this footage in less than 60 seconds. Okay, so I have this clip that we shot on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. So I'm gonna start by loading the camera profile made for this camera. Cool. Now for film stock, our favorite is the Kodak Portra 400, so I'm gonna load that in. We can also adjust the film chroma to blend it in with our original color if we want, but I'm gonna leave it at 100. We can also do the same with the film luma control. I love the contrast it's adding, but I'm gonna dial it back a tad to 80%. Okay, for this shot, I don't want film grain, so I'm gonna turn the strength down to 0. We also have standard color correction wheels, curves, and levels, but for this shot, I'm just gonna add some warmth to the temperature up here. Boom. Just like that, we have beautifully graded footage in less than a minute. Click the link in the description to check out Film Convert Nitrate for yourself.
When we think of low effort B-roll, we think of the local news. Since they're on such a time crunch, they aren't able to be super creative or take the time to get the best shots. When you're not on a time crunch and your B-roll still sucks, that's just lazy. A good filmmaker will put just as much time and effort into their B-roll as they do their A-roll. Now let's see how this might apply to you.
Let's say you make vlogs. Vlogs are often shot in a run and gun style. Your A-roll is this right here, talking to the camera. You could talk to the camera throughout the entire video and still get a point, idea, or theme across, but it might get pretty boring, especially if you don't do cocaine before you turn your camera on and are extremely monotone like us.
Adding B-roll to your shots can help you establish the setting, like this. It can help you move the story along, like this. It can help you tell the story of how much we love our dogs. Without adding B-roll, it'd just be pretty boring and go like this. Adding B-roll to your shots can help you establish the setting, like this. It can help you move the story along, like this. It can help you tell the story of how much we love our dogs. Without adding B-roll, it'd just be pretty boring and go like this.
Okay, we hope this helped give you a clear understanding of B-roll.
Like this video if you like saying the word B-roll.
Subscribe if you haven't yet, and leave us a comment because it helps us out. See you next time. All right, see you, Nick. Thanks.